everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire. Today I have a special guest. He's a very special guest because he was serving a life sentence. And I was able to help him as a jailhouse lawyer have his life sentence reduced to time served, and he walked out of prison. So my guest today is Lonnie Lee Nichols. I'm going to let Lonnie introduce himself. Lonnie, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and your situation, how you ended up in federal prison with a life sentence.
My name's Lonnie Nichols, as y'all know. As Chad just told y'all, I'm from Lakeland, Florida, really. I ended up in prison due to the fact that I was out there slinging, I guess you could say I was selling drugs. Ended up taking the rap from my girl and ended up with a life sentence. I guess what I'm saying is that everything that I've done out there, now that I got out, which I never thought I would get out, and if it wasn't for Chad and them, I would have never got out. But now that I'm out, I feel that, I have a message for the younger crowd. Even if I get through to one person, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Selling drugs and doing drugs ain't the way to go really right now. The feds ain't playing with you. I've been through hell. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did 12 and a half years in a pen. I don't know what we're gonna be talking about today too much, because this is raw, coming to you raw right now. Don't even know what to say, but I'm gonna let Chad take it back, and if he wants me to tell y'all something, I'm gonna tell y'all whatever.
Well, Lonnie, let's talk about prison, right? How old were you when you went to prison?
I was 27.
At the age of 27 years old, you were sentenced to a life sentence. Tell the people how that felt to get life in that courtroom when the judge hit that gavel and said, "I'm giving you a life sentence." What went through your mind?
You could say that I was speechless at first. I didn't know what to say. I didn't cry. I thought they was getting it all wrong. I thought there was a mistake somewhere, because I ain't never killed nobody, Never really had too much violence on my record before then. So I didn't really believe that I deserved a life sentence. And that day that she gave me that life sentence, my own judge told me that she didn't feel that I deserved one. But due to the fact that they had the harsh sentencing guidelines for drugs, it was mandatory that I got a life sentence at the time, and her hands was tied. She asked me if I wanted to say anything whenever she sentenced me, and I told her, I said, "Yes, ma'am, I'd like to say something." And my lawyer's sitting there nudging me, telling me not to say nothing. He didn't appeal nothing. He didn't, object to anything they were saying about me. So I wanted to say my piece. I told him, I said, "Man, the old saying, you reap what you sow." I said, "Ma'am, I've done a lot of bad things in my life. I've sold a lot of drugs. I've done a lot of drugs." I said, "But ma'am, I ain't never hurt nobody. I know that I've hurt people by selling drugs to them now, because I'm not in denial no more. But other than that right there, I'm good." And I told her that, I know that I've done a lot of bad things, but ma'am, I don't deserve a life sentence. And she looked at me and told me that, even though that I'm probably the nicest person she's ever given a life sentence to in her courtroom, she still hit that gavel and gave me a life sentence in 10 years. And I guess you could say, being in prison, man, they sent me to a pen. I started off in a pen.
Let's talk about that. What's a pen? Is that a maximum security prison?
Yeah, it's a maximum security. It's the worst of the worst, man. I went there. I seen my first body my first 2 months there. Stabbed up, sitting on the toilet, leaking, went over to use the restroom. And when I walked around the corner to use the restroom, there's a dead guy sitting on the toilet. Kind of tripped me out. You know what I'm saying? Being 2 months in, 27 years old. I know 27 years old ain't no kid, but I was a kid. I was young. I was dumb, ripping and roaring on the streets before I went in. So I considered myself as a kid. And I seen my first body in my first 2 months there. And then it wasn't nothing to go to chow every day and see knife fights on the sidewalk, you know, and if it's black and white, all the white guys had to kneel down on one knee and wait for it to pop off, because if it was popping off, we got to help regardless. It don't matter, because if you don't help, then they're coming for you, your own people, you know. So it's a big deal, man. It really is.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You're talking about if something's happening to, let's say it's a Hispanic guy or a white guy, you know, if a Hispanic guy is being jumped by two white guys, do the other Hispanics come help the Hispanic guy in federal prison?
Always, you know that. It's gonna happen, man.
And the same,
Vice versa.
okay, so the same thing goes for a white guy. Let's say 4 or 5 white guys are fighting in Coleman and they're fighting 10 black guys and you don't help, right? You see it, you just act like, man, I don't see nothing. You walk away. What happens? What would happen to you?
Well, probably about 5 people gonna show up at your house, your room, whatever, wherever you're at, gonna catch you somewhere on the rec yard, inside wreck, whatever, it don't matter. They're gonna catch you and they're gonna beat you down so bad you're gonna wish you would have helped them. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of politics, man. You know, politics is terrible in prison.
I know firsthand.
You know, to me, hell, the politics is what runs the prisons, not the officers. You know what I'm saying? Not in the pens anyway. I mean, you can lock us down, you know, for 35 months, 30 days, whatever, it don't matter. But if there's still beef, you come out that day, it jumps off again, you're back down for 3 or 4 more months. You know, it don't matter if it's only one person. You know, never know.
So you said you seen one murder. That was the only murder you seen at Coleman, USP Coleman in Florida?
No. I've seen multiple stabbings, man. I mean, I've seen somebody get chased off way to the lieutenant's office and tackled right in front of the lieutenant's office on the concrete and stabbed probably 30, 40 times with a dude over him with a knife, holding it two-handed, just bam, bam, you know what I'm saying? I've seen that. There's a lot, you know. Hell, when I was in Coleman USP, hell, even Miss Sherman, the officer, she got sentenced to a life sentence, you know, for putting another inmate in another inmate's room. That's called, you know, I don't want to name his name because I don't want to put nobody out there, but she put him in that room because that dude grabbed her arm in the shoe through the food slot and held her, you know, and she got a life sentence for that because that other dude killed him. So, I mean, it ain't just us, you know what I'm saying? It's the system, period, man. Feds ain't nothing, man.
Let's talk about that, because I remember I was asked to write an article about that because I write for Criminal Legal News and Prisoners Legal News. So the female officer, she ends up getting a life sentence. Her husband was a lieutenant at USP Coleman also, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And we're not going to name names, but we're going to talk about the situation, okay? I mean, I know the other guy, he got life too, and one of the other correctional officers or guards, I don't like to call them correctional officers, but one of the other guards, he ended up with a 10-year sentence for unlocking the door, and she ended up with life. So the guy reaches through the slot. People don't know what the food slot is. The guy reaches through the food slot, grabs the chick. She tells the other guy, hey, I'm going to give you a pack of cigarettes, right? I want you to fuck this dude up. So what happens? They end up putting him in the cell. Tell the people what happens.
Well, they ended up putting him in a guy's cell, and she went and told that other guy, because I guess he was an orderly at the time in the shoot, and told him that I've got you a present in your room. And he said, you better not put nobody in my room. And because he was very like a single cell status dude, because he was a killer, you know what I'm saying, for real. It wasn't his first person, you know what I'm saying? And they put him in there, and that bull killed that dude, you know. But, you know, you got a lot of people in there that heard her yelling at that dude, you're dead, you know what I'm saying? Don't even trip. Yeah, I got you. You're dead, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Because he grabbed her arm, which a woman shouldn't be down in the shoe to begin with, you know what I'm saying? If they don't want to hear vulgar, you know, things said to them. You know, she shouldn't have been down there to begin with because she's a female. You got a lot of people in there that ain't never getting out. What have they got to lose? You know what I'm saying? Hell, I wasn't never supposed to get out. You know, I'm home now. It speaks big, man. I mean, me personally, I've experienced a lot of things, man, and I don't want to go back. It ain't about nothing about not being tough, whatever. I don't care how bad you think you are. You ain't never bad enough. Believe that. It's going to be, you know, if they come to get you, they come to get you. Don't matter who you are, how bad you are. I'm single.
Is there a lot of one-on-one fights in the maximum security prison?
I ain't never seen one.
You ain't never seen.
Out of all the fights that I've ever seen, I've never seen a one-on-one. Ain't no such thing.
So if you got a beef with another guy, you can't just have a one-on-one fight with him in a maximum security federal prison?
Hell no. If he's from Texas and you from Florida, then they're gonna jump, we're gonna jump. You know what I'm saying? It's vice versa. It's the politics, man. If you're shot caller, which I don't care who you are, you could be independent, whatever. I was independent. Still had a shot caller, you know. You got a shot caller, if you don't do what your shot caller is telling y'all to do, then your shot caller's gonna send 5 or 6 people on you. And you know what I'm saying? It's terrible.
It's terrible.
To me, the federal prison system is so broken. It's just, I don't know, man. It's not safe for nobody. I seen another guy got killed by another guy I know. He killed a dude. That dude had 2 months to go home. They told him to check in. But being who he was, when they told him that, he told them, y'all gonna have to check me in. And I've seen 2 people jump on him. And they started fighting, area and circle people. And they started jumping on the dude. And that dude was whooping both of them. One of my buddies, he walked out of the room with a big knife and stuck it right through him, through his back. It pierced his heart and killed him instantly. You know what I'm saying? But you just never know what's going to happen. You never know nothing. I get up every morning still, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, because I was so used to the mentality of being in prison and having to get up and put my boots on. You know what I'm saying? 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, you're putting boots on every morning and then. If you ain't, if you asleep, one of your homeboys gets into it in the unit and they jump on him and you're not there to help him, then that's you. Then you're getting dealt with next. So you always had to be up and be on point, And that really messes with you psychologically, it messes with your brain hard, because then you start thinking that every day. It's like a routine. I'm still on the routine. I'm doing it now. I'm routining right now, My wife and all of them, they sleep in. I don't ever sleep in. None, because I can't.
I'm on the same thing. I've been doing it. I've been doing it for years, and like I tell people, man, I still sleep with a knife. It's crazy, right? I sleep with a knife, and I wake up at 5 every morning, and I'm ready to go. But I'm a firm believer, Lonnie, that now that we're free, we have to live our best lives, and that don't mean being out here selling drugs and doing whatever we want to do. That means coming out here and living our best life, enjoying life. The air smells different on this side, man. I say that all the time. The air smells different on this side. Do you feel that way?
Definitely, man. I mean, I've been riding around from where I'm from right now, because I've been gone so long. And then when I got out, I ride around with, I guess you could say, me and my wife ride around. We go everywhere. And she's like, hey, where are we going? I said, I don't care. I just want to look, I ain't seen this. I ain't seen that. I ain't been nowhere, And, me being able to do that has opened my eyes to a whole new life. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Me personally, I want that. And me personally, I ain't never going back. I don't think about smoking no cigarette. I don't think about doing no drugs. I don't think about nothing but doing my life, the rest of my life out here, instead of in there. I'm not going back, man.
So
I'm done. I mean, I gotta real good probation officer, and she's there for me 100%. You hear me? I got lucky.
That's good to hear that.
Uh,
Let's talk about whether or not you ever thought you were going to get out of prison. Did you ever think you were going to get out, Lonnie? Was there ever times you're like, man, I'm stuck, I'm never getting out of here?
There's a couple times, man, I just give up, you know. Um, I gave up. I got on the wrong track. Started fighting a lot. Didn't really care, really, to tell you the truth. If you really want to know the truth, I got to win. And then my little sister got killed in 2018 in a car wreck. Really messed me up. I about jumped on a cop that day. You know what I'm saying? All that cop would have had to do is just flinch one time because we was in each other's face already. If he'd have flinched one time, I was taking off on him. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I felt at the time. I did a year in the shoe and lockup because of it, you know, and I hated it. I ain't gonna lie. I couldn't stand it, but I mean, they really couldn't charge me with nothing, but they kept me in the shoe for a year, and I didn't get to leave my room for a year, and it made me think a lot.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, it got me back on track, you know, and I've been, you know, in the pen. I was in the pen the longest, you know. I was there for 12 and a half years. It's a long time, man, you know. And then I went to Talladega, Alabama. I was there. A lot of sex offenders there. I lasted a few years there. Of course, I was given up there too, and I just didn't care. I sewed for Unicore there. I was a lead man and a sewing machine mechanic. Made good money there. I mean, for in prison, I made $300 something a month doing that, you know, and I messed all that up. I went from there to South Carolina. I got into it. Pulled a knife. I mean, I pulled a knife there because I had that prison mentality of the pen, you know. And when I walked into the chow hall one day, you know, that it was all in there. Even my homeboys was involved, you know. And because I knew some checking in the pen, and they said that they don't allow certain people there at that place. So I asked them, well, then what is he doing here? And I put him on blast in front of everybody. But everybody there liked him so much that they was talking behind my back. You hear me? So the next day, me and my roommate that I didn't know for long, but he was a stand-up dude, he went in there with me. I went in there with a knife and slammed it down on the table and told every one of them at the white table that if I ever feel that any one of them are threatening me or talking about behind my back again, I'm going to put that knife in them. And every one of them got up trying to hug me, you know what I'm saying? Because they was all cowards.
Yeah. And
I just pushed them away, man. Get off me, you know what I'm saying? I had like 2 people in the whole chow hall out of probably 80 white dudes that was standing beside me, you know what I'm saying? And I don't like feeling like that, man. But being in prison, in the environment they threw me in when I was young, it made me that way, you know, because you had to survive. I mean, first thing a lieutenant will tell you when you get to prison or a SIS in the pens, they tell you need to go get a knife. You know what I'm saying? If you need to get a knife for protection. Why would a correctional officer or whatever they are hack? Why would they ever even tell somebody something like that? You know, that's how bad the system is, man. They'll tell you straight up, hey man, you better go get you a knife. You might need one here.
let me ask you this,
I
Lonnie.
mean, what kind of?
Let me ask you a question, right? Going into the penitentiary, federal prison, right? Before you got there and before the lieutenant told you to get a knife and all that, did you think, well, you know, I'm going to federal prison, it probably ain't going to be that bad? Did you ever expect that a lieutenant would tell you something like that, to get a knife in prison?
Never. Because I done time in Florida, and our prisons is a little tough, but they can't compare to what they threw me into. And they threw me into something like a shark tank. You hear me? And that's real. I did not know nothing. When I went in, I'm happy and glad that I already knew people that was there, you know, people that was connected to me through my father,
Yeah.
you know, like the Emmy, one Emmy, he was the leader there. He and my dad were very close. You know, he had 3 life sentences. And he seen me come off that bus. He's like, dang, come here. Put me under his wing for real. And he explained to me everything that's going on in that prison. And then a couple other, dudes that I knew from the street, they come up to me. They said, hey, man, this is totally different than the state, bro. And I had to learn a whole new meaning of being in prison there. I mean, as well as you know just as well as I do that there's too much violence in the federal system, period. I was in Pollock. I went through Pollock. Pollock ain't nothing nice. You know what I'm saying? They kill there all the time.
I've been there.
Get stabbed all the time.
I spent some time over there.
Man. And you know what I'm talking about. It ain't no joke. Really, to tell you the truth, man, me personally, I'm a good-hearted dude, you know what I'm saying? And I don't like to see people get taken advantage of and people to get picked on because of who they are or who they run with. Me, I got a heart, you know what I'm saying? I used to talk to people. I did the challenge program. You know, I used to recruit people to go into the challenge program because I used to tell them, hey, you can stay out here and deal with this knucklehead stuff out here, or you can come to the challenge program and you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? You know, just as well as you know, is most gang members, you know, they can't really come to the challenge program because their own people will get them, you know, because there's certain things you got to do in the challenge program, you know. You know, you got to give people pull-ups and shit. That's snitching them, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I just pull somebody to the side and say, hey, I'm going to pull you up this week, you pull me up next week. We'll figure something out. I mean, just beating is trying to get away from, all the BS, you could say. You know, me personally, that's how I feel about the situation, man. It's getting out of control. Everybody used to say, hey, let's go to Club Fed. Go to Club Fed. And you end up in one of them pens, you gonna wish you went fed.
Let me.
You know, 'cause I used to say the same thing. Man.
Let's talk about something here, right? So, you know, going into that pen, did you feel like it was a kill or be killed type of environment, Lonnie?
Yeah, it was. It was a dog eat dog world, man. It was a totally different story, you know.
I want to talk a little bit about.
BB got stick.
I want to talk a little bit about your rehabilitation, right? So you're in the challenge program. You're changing your life. The laws are changing. You know, you said that you felt like, you know, there were times when you felt like giving up, that you were never going to get out of prison, right? So you talk to me, and we talk about getting you out, right? And I actually write your motion. We send it to the court. We don't get a response from the judge tells the government to respond. The government doesn't respond. And we're kind of worried, like, what the hell is going on? And at that point, I said, let's write the judge. So we write the judge. We tell the judge, hey, look, you ordered them to do this. They didn't respond. That means they concede, judge, and you should let me out, reduce my life sentence, and release me from prison. So when we send that letter in, what were you thinking? Did you think you were going to get out, or were you scared?
Man, to tell you the truth, man, I didn't really know. I didn't really know, really, to tell you the truth. Me personally, I've given up so many times over the years, man. I didn't really think I was, you know. And to tell you the truth, man, I mean, I had faith in you because I knew, you know, Brad, you know, Pete, you know, you know, they put a lot of faith in you, you know what I'm saying? And they told me that, you know, and, you know, just like I told you, I've tried stuff over the years, man, with 100 different companies. And I would pay all the money to them and never get nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I would never get nothing from none of them. Sometimes I wouldn't even hear back from them. But then something told me, you know, to go ahead and do it. And I talked to my dad, and my dad told me, I told my dad, you know, one time I even told my dad, man, I said, man, you know what? Just never mind, man. Because my dad didn't really have the money. He lives on a fixed income, you know. So I was like, you know what, Dad, just never mind. Don't even worry about it, man. He said, no, 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 no. This might be your chance to come home. And I don't want to be the reason why you didn't come home. And so we did it. And you know what? Man, hey, you saved my life, brother. And that's real. Dude, I wouldn't even be here now if it wasn't for you. And that's real.
Well,
It means a lot.
I'll tell you this. I told you, man, on the phone, and I said, look, man, I'm going to get you out of prison, right? I said, I'm not going to give up till I get you out. And I'm just grateful that, I was able to help you. And I'm grateful that you're home now and you got married and you're working and you're living your best life, man. You're enjoying your freedom. And I knew that you were a kind-hearted dude, man. I know you've been through a lot of shit in prison. You've seen people murdered on toilets. You've seen people stabbed, and it does affect you. You spent time in the hole. But I'm just happy, man, that I was able to help you because I seen that you were a kind soul, man. I was like, I'm helping this dude until I get you out, whether it's on compassionate release or clemency, man. And I'm happy that you're living your best life. And I want to ask you this. Now that you've experienced freedom again, and you got a life sentence over your girl, because really you took the charge for her. A lot of people don't know that, and they might think, bullshit, but that's what you really did. You saved her life. And it took, numerous years later for you to have your life saved. But I say it's by the grace of God, man, that God gave me an ability to help people. But I want you to tell me and tell the viewers, right, if you could talk to yourself or tell, a younger kid about prison, about making the right choices, what would you say in your words? What would you tell them?
Man, really, to tell you the truth, if I had to tell the younger crowd right now what I went through, man, they have no idea what they're facing if they have to go through what I went through. Back in the day when I was younger, man, I thought I knew it all. You know, I used to say to hell with the police. You know what I'm saying? They can't do nothing to me. And if I go to prison, I'll be back out. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? Something as small as it fits in the palm of my hand gave me a life sentence. So it makes you think and stop and think about everything that's happening in your life. Me personally, the younger crowds nowadays, they're off the chain, man. I've seen them since I've been out. I've been around a lot of them, and they really have no idea what's facing them if they do get, they go to the federal system, whatever. I mean, I don't wish nothing bad on nobody no more. I don't want to see somebody locked up for one day, but they always need to keep in their mind, man, that if they do mess up and go down that wrong road, that where it's going to lead them, it's nothing good. And me personally, to the younger crowds out here nowadays, they're a lot crazier than I was when I was younger. There's a lot of, the pill pandemic and the heroin and all that's out here. Man, these kids out here, man, they don't have a care in the world no more about nothing. My advice to them would be, if you're, addicted to anything, the only way you can quit, man, is if you really want to. It don't take drug rehabs. You could go through a drug rehab, cool, but unless you want it to work, it ain't gonna work. And it's gonna cost your family money, and it still ain't gonna work. Because I used to say all the time when I was younger, man, that I used to tell my mom and dad, when I went to state prison, I got out, telling them, man, I ain't doing no more drugs, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that no more. And then 2 months later, I'm wrapped right back up in it because of the love of money. Money don't, but I'm gonna tell you right now, before I went to prison, this life sentence, yeah, I had money, had plenty of money. But you know what, when you get to prison, that money's not there no more. You know what I'm saying? Your friends ain't there no more because they was never your friend to begin with. You know what I'm saying? They were associates for the dope game. It's not what they can do for you, it's what you can do for them, period. If you ain't got nothing to give them, you're forgot. When I got out, I hit up one of my best friend. He was my right-hand man. I hit him up, and he owed me a lot of money. a lot. And he talked to me one time since I've been out. He ain't offered to come and see me. He ain't offered nothing. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I don't care because he's probably still in that life too right now. I don't care. I don't care though because I don't want to be around that. You know what I'm saying? Me, I surround myself by positive people now. And the younger crowd, really, to tell you the truth, man, if something don't happen and they don't start getting a grip, this world's going to hell, man. I mean, if we got to think about the younger generation running this world as of right now, we're in trouble. Because, I mean, I feel for all the younger crowds. I'd love to go talk to them because, I'd love to go talk to them just to give them some kind of a story of mine. Tell them a story.
Well, you gave him your
They can believe
story.
me if they want to. They don't have to. It don't matter.
You gave him your story today, Lonnie, and I hope that, people,
It's
I hope that they pay heed to it, that they understand that, life is life in federal prison, and that, the feds don't just pick up, these big time dope dealers and drug dealers. We've seen so many petty drug dealers in prison with life sentences. It's unbelievable, man. Lonnie, I just want to thank you, for being here. I want people to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button where it's real, it's raw. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. We're going to close for now, but I appreciate you. I appreciate the viewers, and hopefully, man, they can learn from your story, from our messages. We're out of here.